Hello, crypto world. Welcome to the Chart Historian. My name is Justin, and on this channel, I delve deep into crypto charts, exploring chart structures, fractals, patterns. I believe XRP has begun to show its hand, and in this video, I'm going to show you what I believe is taking place on today's chart. Now, this is New Year's Eve, so Happy New Year's. 2024 is literally around the corner. So let's zoom out real quick. This is the large picture here. XRP has a repetitive macro structure. We have been going through this sideways range-bound time. We see that here. So XRP has its bull runs, it has its declines, and then in between bull runs are these sideways range-bound times. I divide this into three fractals. The first fractal we've completed with the move up and move down in part A, part B where it goes flat. We see that over here. Fractal 2 has three waves to it, wave A, wave B, and wave C. We see that over here with wave A, wave B, and wave C. We are now in Fractal 3. Fractal 3, the fundamental idea of it is it moves up to a point, it then crashes, it then recovers, it does a correction before moving into the bull run. I'm calling this move up and this move down the great fake out. So we have completed this part right here. And we see that over here. We have almost completed this second wave right here, which is what we are currently in. And we are very near this move up. Let's jump in over here and examine this on a smaller time frame so we can get a better picture of what's going on. Okay, so here is a zoomed in picture of the area that we're at, the second wave of that third fractal. I've copied and pasted and matched this fractal, which is from over here, onto today's chart. This purple fractal is the unadjusted fractal. So it is supposed to be moving up, and in my last video, I talked about a deviation that took place, and it did not move up. Instead, it's wandering down here. Well, here's what I believe is likely taking place. If you were to move this right down here, and of course it needs to be adjusted for the size of this part, you'll see that it actually is really the same idea going on. So this is really the deviation that took place. And you can make an argument that it's not really a deviation. It's just a longer move down right here than what the fractal suggested. So I believe that what is taking place right now is this fractal just down here instead of up here. Now, there's more to it. In my last XRP video, you can watch that over here, I talked about a deviation that took place right before XRP moved up from the ruling between the SEC versus Ripple lawsuit that took place. So it is this part right here that actually was a deviation. Actually, this whole thing, this and the move up, was a deviation from what the original fractal called for. The original fractal called for a gradual move up. It did not do that. It went flat, just like it's doing today, and then it just kind of did something strange right around here. Well, if you were to copy and paste this structure over here, now we'll have to match it for timing, height, and depth. Let's do that. So as you can see, it is following fairly closely. I believe it is a decent match, and it's interesting that XRP is essentially taking deviations from its past and applying them to today's chart. And it's not just any old deviation, it's a deviation right before a big move up. So let's zoom out a little, and I want to show you that this fractal and this fractal, they're really actually the same idea. So if we stretch this out a bit more to account for this size of a fractal, you see that it does very similar things. I believe XRP has revealed its hand, and it is really not doing anything different. It's just doing it in a different way that we, instead of doing it up here, it's doing it down here. it's eventually going to get to a point where it's got to move up. And that move up will most likely be fast and furious in typical XRP fashion. Now, there's one other thing I'd like to do is I'd like to compare what XRP is doing to Bitcoin. Okay, so on the top here, I have XRP. I have the fractal that it's been following, fractal 3. This is the unadjusted fractal. And down here is Bitcoin. Now, notice how XRP has been in this range. It's supposed to be in a range. It's a wave up, and then it kind of goes into a range before moving into the great fakeout. Well, I believe that this right here is doing what it should be doing, but Bitcoin influences it. For instance, this move up right here was actually quite a bit larger than what the original fractal called for. Look how small this move up is. Well, I believe the reason why that was is because look at Bitcoin over here. It's moving up. That affected this right here. We get this exaggerated move up when Bitcoin is moving up. When Bitcoin is consolidating over here, this is supposed to just be a flat area. Well, first off, before we even get to that, we get to this peak right here. Again, this was supposed to be a range. This peak in Bitcoin clearly influenced this move right here. This move was supposed to take place. However, it was very extreme, very exaggerated. Once Bitcoin goes into its consolidation and even moving down, we have the same fractal playing out the way it should for the most part. However, we get these really intense moves down in XRP when Bitcoin is kind of moving down. So Bitcoin is definitely an influencer. However, XRP still follows what it's supposed to do. The moves up or moves down tend to be exaggerated by what Bitcoin is doing. So I thought that was an interesting observation. And as you can see up here, this is really just much more even, much more flat than all this stuff going on here. And this is actually supposed to be trending up right now, but because Bitcoin is going into this consolidation over here, it is been going flat versus trending up. Now, if we jump over to Bitcoin, I believe Bitcoin is potentially beginning its part where it will move up again. We'll have to see how that plays out. So just keep that in mind. Now, what we are going into is a fairly substantial move up, but this is a fake out, folks. It's not going to continue moving up. In fact, it's going to turn around and come right back down. I've made plenty of videos on this fake out that is going to take place. It's going to take time for it to wind down, but we are getting near to that point where this drastic move up will take place. I don't know how high it will go. I just know that it's going to move up and it's going to move back down. For those of you who look at my fractals here and try to make a connection over here on this side of the chart, you are making a mistake. I don't know how high this will go. This could go higher, then it can go lower. It's yet to be seen. So do not focus on here. We are talking about structures. We're not talking about price. Understand that. So this will take place. How high it will go will yet to be seen. How low it will decline will also be seen. This is just a part of that fractal. It kind of winds its way down to a point. Historically speaking, this drop can go quite low, so be prepared for that. After this decline, we see over here, which is the peak right here where it comes to a peak and then it crashes. After this decline, XRP begins to move up. It has its correction right here, and then it goes into the bull run. So once it's down here, it only moves up. We are actually getting close to the bull run. We are at the threshold almost. Considering what we have come through, we are very close. We have some turbulence right here, this fake out that is going to take place. But to be forewarned is to be forearmed. Well, I'm so glad you caught this video. I hope you found it interesting. I'm not a financial advisor, so none of this should be considered financial or investment advice. But if you did enjoy this type of technical analysis and you'd like to see more and you're not a subscriber yet, I recommend hitting that subscribe button. I'll continue to follow up on this chart as it continues to develop. We have exciting times ahead. 2024 is going to be a fun year, so there's sunny days ahead. I'm so glad you caught this video. Happy New Year's. I hope you catch my next one. Have a great day, and bye for now.